Hello. Hi. Welcome back. Here we are again. Are you bored of us yet? Are you sick of us yet? But you're still watching, so we're happy that you are.
Whether you like it or not, it's happening.
No, but welcome back to the Synchronicity Podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Nicole.
And we've got jokes today. Anyway,
it's cold and snowy.
It's cold and
we got
snowy.
jokes.
It's kind of shitty outside, but it's a great day to be inside podcasting, which is good for us. We change your brain to change your life. We basically answer lots of the questions that people never thought that they ever had and didn't know that they had, and we just are here to help with consciousness and hopefully give people some answers to the questions that we had to find the answers to because the majority of people didn't have them. So we sought them out, and so here we are sharing what we know. And yeah, today we're going over instinct and intuition, which is one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah, it's one of your favorite subjects because most of the time people use it wrong and then you get annoyed.
Yes.
And you're like, you're using that wrong, that's not right.
Yeah.
And then you break it down for them and then they're like, oh, that makes sense. So he's about to break it down for us. Because this one, it took me a little while to like understand and integrate it first because I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a very common misconception that intuition, right? People talk about the female intuition. It's actually the female instinct.
Which makes sense. Now you think about it.
Instincts you cannot explain. That's why they're instinctual. It's like, I don't know how I know that, but I know it. Intuition is actually mathematical. It's deductions of minute details in any given subject to draw a conclusion to. So that's mathematical, which is the mind. Instinct is from the heart or the gut. And you have no idea why you feel that or having that like reaction to something, and that's feminine. So intuition is masculine. We all have masculine energy, right? So women do have intuition. But the one thing that we really have that men really lack is instinct in the same degree. Because that's what women used to be valued for, right? We just have this like instinct about something. And again, a lot of people, they use it correctly of like, they're just saying that it's intuition instead of instinct, and it's huge in the spiritual community. And I'm like, every time somebody says that, I'm like, but intuition is mathematical, which is the mind, which is masculine.
Well, and so, okay, so this is how I broke it down when we first started diving into this and like, I was like understanding it. So when you are in instinct, it's like mama bear. Like, instinct is like what's going on. It's very motherly. Like, it's very like mom intuition.
I mean, yeah, it could be described as that. It's more of just like, you know, what I joke about is like, because you do this all the time. You'll walk into a situation and you're just like, nope. Like, there's just this like, hell no energy. That's instinct.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't like this person. Nicole has a lot of Scorpio in her chart. So she just like nopes. And I'm like, I'm part Taurus. So I'm like, la 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 la. Like, who are you? How are you? Oh, you're full of darkness? Great. My name's Megan. Anyway, and Nicole's like, just like sitting there light-eyed, like, or wide-eyed, just like, nope. Like, and there's not even, there's been no inkling. True. There's been nothing that they've done. There is no intuition in it. There's no mathematical deduction that can be, or minute, anything in the field that you're deducing with your mind. It's energy, and you're just like, no. And that is what I'm talking about. It's that sacred no of the feminine that we've kind of lost touch with and coming back into. But you just have you cannot explain instinct. You cannot, I could break down like, oh, my intuition towards this, or what's going to happen here is this and this and this and this and this. My instinct, I'm like, I don't know why, but it just doesn't feel right. So instinct is feeling based. So it's feminine. It's like, I don't know why, but this just does not feel correct. And you do it all the time. And it cracks me up because I was like, oh, you're right about that. Oh, you're right about that. But that's instinct. If it was intuition, you would have been able to explain it to me. Or you'd be like, this fucker is creepy. Like, get the fuck out of here. Anyway.
Well, and, you know, so like, but intuition, right? It makes sense because men think, right? They are And when you're with a really masculine man, you can actually observe them doing this because they're like literally making a mathematical equation when they walk into the room. Yes. Like they can calculate, like a lot of masculine men that are intuition based, they will watch the door, they will scan a room, like they will put you on the inside when you're walking on the sidewalk. Like they're constantly doing mathematical deductions of threat. And you're like, oh, this feels good. Like, whoa.
Yes, okay. I know. If you didn't know that.
That's fancy.
If you didn't know that.
What?
Men always walk on the straight side. Men.
They should also always face the door when you're at a restaurant. And
open your car door.
Yeah, they should open the car door. Make sure that you're safe.
Make sure you get home safe.
They should always have their back to a wall, like to see the whole restaurant if you're like out.
Things we have forgotten.
Yeah, like things that like. And I used to, like, my ex used to do that, and I'd be like, what the, like, at first he'd be like, no, babe, you need to, like, sit so I can see the door, and I'm like, that is the weirdest thing ever, like, and then I just let him do it, because I was like, oh, whatever, and then it now, like, makes sense that now I'm talking about this topic, because, like, I don't know, like, I'll just tell you if something doesn't, like, feel good, and he's the one that's like, there's a threat, I'm like, what?
Well, we were also raised by a feminine dad, so we don't really understand.
Pick up your own bags.
Threat.
Open your own car door.
It's been in the last, like, few years that I've really understood, like, what it is to be feminine. Because I remember the first time a guy, like, pulled me and put me on the inside of the street, and he walked on, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, what is happening?
It's very strange. Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
Because our dad is like...
Whatever.
Every man for themselves, essentially, because he raised us as little boys. Like, we were on our own. Like, figure it out. That's what you do to a little boy. But you know what?
It's okay.
He was cherished. It's not his fault. So, our dad, and the majority of men in today's world, use instinct or feelings to solve their problems, which is feminine. If you have a man that says, I feel this is why I'm doing this, they're in their feminine. If you are a feminine core, also run the fuck away. So when we, as women, use intuition or our minds to solve our problems, we are thinking centered, we are masculine. So if you're a feminine core and you want to feel good in a relationship, not do good in a relationship, then you need to lead with your feelings in a relationship. It doesn't mean that women can't solve problems and think, but understand that you're in your masculine when you're doing that. Mm-hmm. You are not part of a 50-50 relationship. If you're solving your own problems and doing everything yourself, then you might as well be single.
That's called friendship.
You're mothering your man and your friends or whatever, but it just understand that if men are feeling centered, they're women with a penis, which is totally fine, but just understand that they want to be cherished, and if you want to be cherished, it's not going to work out. And this is why we go back to, what is your core? Do you want to be cherished for your feelings or respected for your mind? You have to choose in a relationship, or go back to the podcast about pain, because you're in a codependent relationship, you're in a shame, addictive behavioral pattern, and we got a problem. So you have to choose to be a respected, thinking-centered human being in a relationship, or a feeling-centered, cherished human being in a relationship. And nowadays, men were cherished by their mothers, just like we were respected by our father. So we were raised to be boys, even though, lo and behold, we're both feminine cores and had to heal that. And now when I'm in a relationship, or going out on a date, I go into my feelings, into my heart, and then the man gets to take over and do all the thinking, and it feels amazing because at work, I'm in my mind all day. Right now, we are in our masculine, we are teaching, preaching, whatever. This is masculine, right? So, trust me, it feels so good when you just pick one energy and you surrender to the other, because then you get to be a part, like two parts of a whole, right? And it's just this beautiful thing that happens as I've started to do this. My relationships have just gotten more and more rewarding, and they feel better and better, and I'm less and less stressed, and my body is less and less like rigid, and it's wild to watch it. But this is a huge thing in relationships that people need to be aware of, because I see so many feminine cores with I mean, they're ego dystonic, so go back to our podcast on that too, because I will also explain this in more detail. But
Hashtag trauma.
we're living in the wild west of dating with this
Well,
stuff.
the thing too is like, so that even just goes into like, if you go on a date with a man and you like the first thing you feel and it like doesn't feel comfortable, that's your instinct. Like it's not gonna work. Like 9 times out of 10, when you go on a date and it's like he's not in his masculine and you don't feel safe, that's your instinct just saying like, nope, that's not going to work. And that's you being in your own energy, especially if you're a feminine core, because I think so many women go against that. In one of my favorite podcasts, Crime Junkie, they talk about that spidey sense, and they want to like, women try to go against their instinct and like logically talk themselves out of it. Ask me how I know, I used to do it.
Well, so that is true if you are in your feminine.
Yes.
If you are ego dystonic and you have to resensitize yourself to masculine men, you're going to think that they're a threat.
Correct.
Until you have reoriented
Right.
your nervous system, because I used to not be attracted to masculine men because I was getting in a dick measuring contest with every guy I dated because my dad respected me, so I didn't know how to respect men because I didn't think they were respectable. So
Well, yeah, I mean, we grew up in the post-feminist era of like, you don't need a man, but you know, here we are.
yeah,
And so I think that like the baseline of it, if you are so like disassociated or this is like super, super new to you, women, like what it is like baseline is what your gut and your heart are telling you, what is happening in your physical body. And if you're so stuck in your brain, one, you probably need to find a coach or someone to help you reassociate because
take our alpha class.
yeah, take our alpha class and start getting curious, because that if you're constantly thinking everything through every single problem, you're going to end up really sick. The dis-ease in your body is going to be insane, and you're going to end up with a feminine man, and then your nervous system's going to be real jacked up, and you're going to be like, damn, I wish I would have listened to Nicole and Megan on that podcast. But instead, I just kept going and being one hell of an alpha, which is fine. You have every right to do that.
I don't recommend it.
It's not fun, but us alphas love to learn the hard way. So here we are.
Well, the majority will probably ignore us and then come back in like 6 months.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because that's what I did.
Yeah.
When I originally learned all this.
So when you're reassociating, it's really like, what does my heart and gut say? Like, what is happening? What do I feel?
How do I feel?
If you need to stop and like breathe and have a moment, take a bath and ask yourself that, start there. And then men, like if you're reassociating and coming out of your feelings because, oops, sorry, that was serious. Every man, there's a lot of men right now in their feels, like so many feminine men.
Oh my god, did I tell you what happened last night?
What happened?
Oh my gosh, so I'm on dating apps right now, and this guy was like, I want to cuddle. And he was like, have you ever been married? And I said, no, I have never been married. He said, do you want to get married just so we can say that we have? And he said, then we can come cuddle. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't even say W2F, but I was like, WTF. Like, what in the fuck is happening?
You should have used the new, like, what is it, Gen Z's, like, that's sus. Are you a serial killer, sir?
But if a man, like, first date is like, let's get
cuddle?
married or let's cuddle, he's a feminine fucker. Like, he doesn't want to get to know you. He has no respect for himself or anybody else. Like, run away.
So, if you're a man and you've been in all your feelings, because we, like, tangent there for a second. We're doing really good not tangenting, by the way.
We have time on this one, so.
But, men, what are you thinking? Like, what is happening in your brain? And step into that. Like, start thinking your way through problems instead of just being, like, feeling led. Like, oh, that hurt my feelings. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Because your feelings are second to hers. You need to figure out your thoughts and figure out how you're going to cherish, protect her, and provide for her. Because if not, you're going to end up in a real bad situation where even your body will start breaking down. Like, feminine men, like, men that are always in their feelings, I've noticed more and more, they're actually really soft, like, physically soft.
Oh, for sure.
And, like, they're like, my testosterone's plummeting. I'm like, well, yeah, you're in your feelings all the time, and you're, like, eating fucking ice cream. Like, because of all your feelings, like your ice cream and bonbons. Like, come on, bro. Like, what is happening here? Like,
Well,
go do something with your life.
Yeah, they think that they're the prize.
Yeah, like this is not cute.
That's
like,
not a good look.
No, it's not. And they're all over right now.
Oh, it is.
It's real bad.
It's a thing, and I have dated them. They're per Arturnises.
Oh, I've totally dated them.
Go listen to our podcast on per Arturnises because it's like the new age of like narcissistic mommy's boys.
Well, and like
it's so annoying.
If you tell a man who's in his feelings no, he literally will be like, "Oh my god, you're so mean," and like his voice gets all high, and you're like, "Wait, what is happening? Like I just said no, that doesn't feel good," and then he's like,
they don't respond.
What to do? Help me.
They don't respond to challenge. You know,
No.
again, just for reference, there are feminine core men that
Absolutely.
are genuinely like,
Absolutely, they're great.
you know, that's just who they are. It used to be the minority. I don't know what it is now, but
Probably 50-50 like all the relationships.
well, if you're in 50-50, then you're also in an ego dystonic relationship. We got an issue there. Unless it's negotiated. Again, courtship, men pay. After that, if it's negotiated that, you know, you both have good jobs and you want to do whatever with your money, I don't really care. But courtship, a man should always pay. If he is a man and you have enough testosterone and you actually, like, want to be the one that is leading the relationship, then you need to figure out how to pay for a date, because this is just the stuff that I see and have seen dating in the last, like, what, really probably the last 6 years, it's been the worst, is like, what is happening?
Well, but also like, what happened to like being proud to lead the relationship? Like, no men, like men are not proud anymore.
Why would they be when women don't let them, like, women cuss at them for opening car doors?
I mean, there's like no like pride in their work. I'm like, wow, this
women
is...
have completely emasculated men.
I'm not against it. I'm just saying, like, men
live to please women, and if it pleases women to act like the man, then they have just completely conceded to us and just said, like, oh, well, if you want to do everything, like, well, then I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, and I'll just sit here and eat potato chips and raise these kids.
About the feminine and our sacred no, and us coming back into knowing who we are and being like, either rise to the occasion or you're not getting sex again. But when you give men sex for free, and you're giving, which is giving, if you're giving men sex outside of a relationship, you are a man. We're going to do a podcast about this next.
Okay, sex before you negotiate.
No, sex before a relationship.
Before a relationship, okay.
Is hookup culture. You are a man, you are giving sex, which is masculine, and you are cherishing his feelings. You are the problem, and this is why Nicole and I harp on hookup culture constantly, because women are the ones that have always dictated sex of yes or no, and we have made men soft and feeling-based creatures because we're like, oh no, don't open our door, but I'll fuck you and suck you without any... without any negotiation.
It's true.
And it is a freaking nightmare, because it's like, and then women complain about like, men are dating. I'm like, you are a toxic individual that doesn't even understand how toxic you are, and we gotta look at this.
Well, and then she's mad. I mean, we're gonna go into this in probably like another podcast, but then she's mad because she didn't negotiate.
She doesn't understand.
She is thinking herself through it. She's quite literally in her intuition. Intuition. Yeah, she's being a man. She's just like, I think I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you know what men like? Sex. So if I give them sex, they're gonna like me. And I'm like,
because they're like,
nah.
that is not logically deductible based on science. But good luck with that.
Men
It might work.
don't fall in love with vaginas unless they're a woman.
That's true.
They fall in love with virtue. If you want to know more about that, we have podcasts on oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin is how men fall in love. Wow, that caught. How men fall in love, and if a woman is fucking and sucking everybody
For free.
no man can love you, because he's like, you know
easy.
what? I'm gonna have to fight and kill all these other dudes that she's having sex with. This is not worth my life. Peace out, bro. And like, because you are a bro.
Yeah,
you're a man.
Anyway. All right. Well, if you want us to go any further on intuition or instinct, this is a very fun topic. You can Google it, and like, there's so much out there. But to wrap up, like, intuition is mathematically deductible. It's thinking, it's masculine. Instinct is feminine feelings. It's just like that weird spidey sense that we have as women. Men have it too, but it usually is second nature to them. They're usually not. It's like, anyways. If you liked this, please comment, share. If you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify, please give us a review and like the show. It helps us tremendously. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to us, share, and we will see you next time. Bye.